On this AVNation special, we preview Digital Signage Expo 2019. Comes your way March 26th through the 29th. We talk with Rich Doherty from AVI-SPL about creating consistent content for digital signage. All that and more. Next on this AVNation special.
The network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
is AV.
This
is AVNation.
This is AVNation.
This is an AVNation special. Digital signage, content creation. This is Tim Albright with AVNation with a Digital Signage Expo special. What we're doing is we're previewing DSE 2019. Comes your way March 26th through the 29th from Las Vegas. With me today to discuss DSE 2019 and all things digital signage, it's Rich Doherty from AVI-SPL. Welcome, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us. Real quickly, before I forget, DSE happens again March 26th to the 29th. The actual expo is the 27th and 28th. If you want to see Rich, though, you can check him out on March 28th from 1:45 to 2:15, talking about creating the wow in winning digital signage content strategies. But first, Rich, before we talk about your actual presentation and everything, you've been with AVI-SPL a long time. What's kind of some of the biggest uses you've seen for digital signage on campuses in general?
That's a good question. So what I've seen is like a combination of different things. Students rely on campus digital signage multiple ways. Wayfinding, for example, is high on that list. The campus can be a maze. There's hallways, there's several buildings, and especially if you're a visitor as well, it can be a labyrinth, and you can get easily lost in that. So with wayfinding, you can navigate around. You can have the directions pushed to your mobile device and use that to get to where you need to get to be. And so on top of that, you can digital signage is something that's a great communicator. So you can have digital signage throughout the campus where you can have emergency messaging, which is very important. You can have directories to find staff. You can have sports scores. You can promote special events. So, all informational and all very important, especially, being on campus. So I think those are pretty much the biggest elements that you would see and for use cases on campus.
So you've laid out quite a few options here, right? Quite a use case. When you guys go into a college campus, when AVI-SPL goes into and does a needs analysis, how do they assess exactly which one of those several different options a specific campus, or maybe not even a specific campus, but a specific school inside that college would need?
So AVI-SPL offers a digital media strategy assessment, and that's where we go in, we do an overview of the client's organization. We do also the current network and infrastructure. We make sure we analyze all those things. And we also want to know what their goals and future goals are. So we take all that into account. So our certified design engineers go in and we meet the client's expectations, their objectives. And so we also know that they want to grow and scale in the future. So we take that into account as well. And we make sure that we kind of put together a design so there isn't any future issues or, they want to grow into this and they can't because of the limitations of the design. So we take all that into account. So on top of that, there's content design. So in any digital signage rollout or any design, you really have to have the ability to deliver great content. Content is key in any digital signage deployment. Your signage the deployment will only look as good as the content that's on it. So that's something that I really stress in any digital signage rollout. So with that in mind, we have to find out if the client has that ability to deliver that. And if they don't, AVI-SPL has their own internal resources that we can offer the client to make sure that they can really, deliver the messaging or communicate the strategy that they have in mind.
And when you do that, that is on an ongoing basis because let's be frank, depending
Yep.
on the
Never ends.
sometimes sometimes that messaging never ends, right?
Right. You have to feed the beast.
Yeah, exactly. So you guys go in, you start making initial contact, and you set up the meeting with the certified design engineers.
Mm-hmm.
Who in that organization do you want in that first meeting, and honestly in the subsequent meetings? Who are the stakeholders who should be involved in a digital signage design, and honestly in a digital signage deployment?
Yeah, it's another really good question. And we get asked that all the time in separate meetings internally, like who is it that we go to, And so deploying a digital signage solution takes careful planning. You want to have the right people up front where there isn't issues later where the stakeholder then becomes, notified that they've installed something and there was a requirement that no one talked about. And so you want to make sure that all the people that, and we can suggest that, like, do we have someone from IT, we're putting something on their network. We want to make sure that, they're aware of this. Are there any bandwidth concerns, things like that? So to make this a successful deployment, you want to make sure that members from IT are involved. You want to make sure that, if there isn't a messaging strategy, that there is a messaging strategy, because you don't want to have blank screens, throughout the facility. So what we want to do is make sure that marketing is involved, HR is involved, the stakeholders who are putting together the designs are involved. And also if there's different departments, some of the departments should be aware of what's going in because they may have a stake in this too. Like they may like the idea of communicating through that digital signage platform. So there's a lot of levels. But, when we boil this down, it's really IT, marketing, and the stakeholders who are pushing the messaging, or whoever is approving it also needs to be involved.
And when you talk about the stakeholders, in addition to IT and marketing, those are again, college campuses here. Those are, by and large, the individual colleges, unless it is a specific department, right? Mm-hmm. I've talked with IT managers and technology managers in the past, who let's pick on U of I because you and I are both in Illinois. So University of Illinois in Champaign-Urbana, they've got an engineering school, they have a business school, they have a nursing school, they have all these schools, and each one of those is a little fiefdom in and of itself. They have a different budget, they have a different infrastructure. A lot of times they'll be on their own separate network. So
correct.
Is that what you mean when you say stakeholders, just the folks that are involved in each one of those departments?
Absolutely. And they all could have, like, if there is one official template that is being issued, each one of those departments could have a hand in designing and pushing their own content to that, the real estate on the screen. So they all need to be aware and they all need to be trained on it, so there's a lot of steps.
Yeah. As we kind of wrap up here, what's some of the biggest changes you've seen in digital signage in the last 4 or 5 years?
And there's been a tremendous amount of changes. It's software, it's hardware. The price of things are dropping. More people are able to afford digital signage solutions. But for me, the most changes I've seen have been in the experience you can get from digital signage. It's almost like you have a tool that can really push all sorts of experiences to the user, whether it's an interactive experience or a visual experience. So we've seen technology also making advancements in in digital signage, technology or software like augmented reality. So you can walk in front of a display and the display has a camera on it, and there's an integrator in there that can do analytics and know your gender, your age, and comprise all this data, and then push content that's specific to your criteria. And so I saw there was I think it was a YouTube video or something where there was a kiosk at a Ford plant or dealership, and users were walking up and having an augmented reality experience where the kiosk seemed to be, the content was tailored to make it look like they were talking to that specific person. And it was humorous, it was engaging, they showed audience reaction. it was a total hit. So it's those experiences that leave the user will leave and tell other people about it. It helps the brand that created that experience. And, it's memorable. People want to experience it themselves. So it lends itself to other things, and so also displays, the cost of displays are dropping. More people are doing video walls. There's also system on a chip, SoC. So, there is also, you're developing the ability to not need a media player. So the display will be the only thing up on the screen. And so you can go from the CMS to the cloud to the display. So AV closets may be obsolete in 5 years, who knows? But the ability to do this stuff, and I'm looking forward to what will happen. They're starting to work on technology that will monitor your eye movement, like what it is you're looking at. You can monitor data on those reports. It's interesting where technology is going, but from what I see, it's just things are becoming more affordable, and technology is making experiences much more memorable.
Yeah, absolutely. The good word there, experience. Richard, you are actually hosting a talk at DSC. Richard's talk is March 28th from 1:45 to 2:15. The title of it is Creating the Wow in Winning Digital Signage Content Strategies. If somebody's taking this course, what are they going to walk away with?
So I'm doing this presentation with Stu Siegel. He's the executive director of VL Creative. So he and I will both collaborate on this presentation. So he and I are going to talk about where digital signage becomes memorable. What are the ingredients that make something, to communicate what your message is in a vibrant, exciting way where dwell time is non-existent. People want to be there and want to experience what it is, and wait to the end to really get to the punch of what it was that the messaging was designed to do. So that's what we're hoping to get across. We have examples. We want to show and talk about all these things. How you start with just an idea and go through the process of creating the end result. So that's pretty much what we want to do.
We're going to get in March 28th. You can catch Richard from 1:45 to 2:15 at Las Vegas time, obviously, because DSE happens March 26th through the 29th in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada, at the Las Vegas Convention Center. Mr. Richard Doherty, thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Thank you for having me. It's great.
And how do people get a hold of you or AVISPL if they want?
They can go to avispl.com and they can find everything AVISPL there, or you can reach me on LinkedIn. My name's Rich Doherty, so you can just look me up on there.
All right, we're going to Rich Doherty from AVISPL. Also, you can see him at Digital Signage Expo, DSE 2019, March 26th through the 29th. My name is Tim Albright. For more information about us, AVNation.tv. That's AVNation.tv. You can find this program and a host of others, including our 2 weekly programs. One looks at the commercial side of AV, one looks at residential. Also follow along as we also head to DSE 2019, March 26th through the 29th. AVNation.tv, AVNation.tv.